What's going on, Thunder fans? We are back for another week of Thunder Things with the Thunder Guys. I'm Zack, and my co-host Craig is actually not with me this week. That's okay, because today I have a very special guest. This is my 7-year-old daughter, Cadence. Can you tell everybody hi?
Hi.
She's rocking her Thunder shirt today. She's a big Thunder fan, just like her daddy is, and I'm so glad to have her with me. She's going to do a little bit of talking Thunder basketball with me and sharing some of her impressive insight, I might say. And, but anyways, so, Cadence, usually we start the show off and we talk about the last week of games. So I know that usually your bedtime comes before the Thunder games start and everything like that. But do you know how we did this last week in the 2 games that we played against the Raptors? We lost the first one, and then remember I told you we finally broke our losing streak and we won on Friday night. So, what do you think about the Thunder right now? How do you think they're doing?
Okay.
You think they're doing okay? I think I'm going to have to agree with you. They could be playing better, but they could also be playing worse. I'm glad that they're in the hunt right now, in a good spot for the playoffs. Right now we're in 6th place in the West, which isn't as good as we would like it to be. We'd like to be around maybe the 3rd, 4th, 5th seed perhaps, but we'll see where we end up. We've only got 9 games left, but regardless, I'm excited with where we're at. So I'm gonna do a little bit of recap over the games, and if you have anything to add in, just let me know. Okay? All right. So first game of the week, I should say, since we last recorded, was against the Raptors at home. This was a very special night. I actually got to go to the game. Had some of the best seats I've ever had. I was there for Nick Collison's pregame ceremony to see his jersey retire, which is really cool. I got to see that go up in the rafters, and very excited to see that. He gave a speech. It was very moving, and it was cool to hear from him. But anyways, the game, on the other hand, it took a little bit of a turn. The Thunder struggled to get started, dug themselves a hole pretty quickly, gave up 39 points in the first quarter to the Raptors, which is not good. And it was weird because I felt like the defense was playing pretty well. They were playing pretty solid. And they were doing a pretty good job overall at giving effort. But when it came down to it, Toronto was hitting some pretty crazy shots, and they just couldn't get it done. End up getting down by 19 points in the second half. Really cost the Thunder a chance to win the game, it appeared. And the Thunder ended up being able to come back, force overtime. It was incredible. And then with Paul George fouled out of the game, the offense fell flat. Paul George hadn't played well to begin with, so that didn't really help much. But it was okay. They were able to walk away with the loss. Definitely not what Thunder fans wanted. Definitely not what I wanted, considering I was at the game. But it's all right. Moved on and end up traveling to Toronto to match up with the Raptors again, this time on Friday night. And anyways, Friday night was a little bit of a different tune. The game was pretty close from start to finish, and it looked like the Thunder was not going to be able to pull it out. They struggled again, trailed for most of the game. Sometime along the way into the game, they were able to get right back into it. It was about midway through the 3rd quarter. They put together a 20-4 run to take a short 2-point lead. Didn't last for very long before Toronto was able to come back, and it bounced back and forth before the Thunder started to take over. As far as good things, the Thunder looked about as good as they have lately on defense. Forced 21 turnovers. They have not done a very good job at forcing turnovers lately, but they were able to get back into that. Russell Westbrook put together another triple-double. Didn't shoot very well, but especially from 3 after having a pretty incredible game on Wednesday night. Really struggled on Friday night, but Paul George started to find his shot. Dennis Schroeder had his best game in what seemed like forever. But Jeremy Grant played really well after not playing well on Wednesday, showed up on Friday. Ultimately, Thunder shot 12-14 from the free throw line, which was a big deal. You got to make your free throws, right? It's hard to win games if you don't win your free throws. Wouldn't you agree? You got to speak up.
Yes.
Yes, okay. So as far as bad, there wasn't a whole lot of bad in the game. Allowed Toronto to shoot 50% from the field and 50 52% from three. They made 13 of 25. You know, sometimes teams are just going to hit shots, and it kind of felt like that was Toronto. For the most part, the defensive effort was solid, contesting, closing out on shooters, and doing a good job with that. But no matter what the Thunder was doing, they were still managing to make shots. Danny Green got some wide open threes. Kawhi Leonard, he's been shooting more threes than I feel like I've ever seen him do. He was pretty solid. But in the end, Oklahoma City was able to win, and a big part of that was the Thunder shot 20 of 43 from three. And I guess the question that comes out of this is that good or bad? And it's hard for me to say. The Thunder went through a time period where they did a really good job of knocking down threes. And it was for like a month or so. They shot at a really high percentage, but then they all of a sudden just couldn't make them anymore. They've been pretty terrible since did well on Friday night. My biggest concern here is I do not want I do not want the Thunder to fall in love with the three ball. If they do that, it can end up costing them in the long run, and it's going to be some struggle there. So, weekly recap: 1-1. Craig and I both predicted last week that the Thunder and the Raptors would split home and home, and it actually went the other way around, which is weird. So sometimes that's going to happen, but it's okay. Looking ahead, actually looking back, last week we did a bit of a season breakdown, and I'm going to do the same thing today. The Thunder's record is 43-30. That's exactly the same as they were last year, which many would consider a bit of a disappointment. Really felt like this season was something different, and I think that still is a little bit of the case. What it all comes down to is heading into the playoffs with some level of energy, and then being able to carry that over into the playoffs. Got a quick question on our Twitter feed asking about thoughts on Thunder free agency needs. I think this is just kind of going back to the same old thing. The Thunder really needs a knockdown shooter. Paul George is that guy typically, and then the Thunder has other guys, and Jeremy Grant can hit most of the time. Schroeder is kind of streaky. Westbrook obviously having one of the worst three-point shooting seasons, high volume shooting of all time. So I think if we could bring in a guy that's able to play decent defense and knock down threes, I really thought Terrence Ferguson was going to be that guy for a while, but he's really not been lately. So I don't know. But getting back on track, season breakdown. Thunder is 43-30 on the year, same as last year. I would consider that a disappointment. Many would consider that a disappointment. Thunder was on a streak there for a while, leading up into the All-Star break. Thunder had won 11 of 12. Since then, 6 of the last 17. It's been rough. Broke the losing streak on Friday with the win in Toronto, though. So, it's all right. It's all right.
Mm-hmm.
We still got season left, right?
Yes.
So, anything you want to add in right now?
No.
Nothing? All right. You're doing good, Cadence. So, let's go ahead and take a look at the playoff picture. It's updated a little bit from last week. The Thunder dropped all the way to the 8th seed after losing to Toronto on Wednesday, but then after not even playing a game Thursday night, they bumped all the way up to the 5th seed because of a 4-way tiebreaker. Utah lost a game which balanced Utah, Los Angeles Clippers, the Spurs, and the Thunder with the same record. The Thunder would win that multi-team tiebreaker. So, right now, though, the Thunder is in the 6th seed, half a game back from the Clippers, who have played one more game. And they're still only 3 games back of the 3 seed, 2.5 games back from the 4 seed. Once again, half a game back of the 5 seed. And they're in a tie with Utah, but winning the tiebreaker. And only 1 game ahead of the Spurs, who are in the 8th seed. So there's a lot that can happen, and I think that's kind of the deal here. As we update standings consistently on a daily basis, a lot of fans, they want to know exactly where the Thunder's at. And the thing is, you don't really know until it's over. And it's not over for 9 more games, at least for the Thunder. The playoff teams are pretty much set. What are you doing? Sorry. My daughter's acting kind of strange over here. Anyways, the Thunder has all but confirmed their playoff appearance. As far as what position they're going to be in, that is yet to be seen. So, as far as remaining schedule goes, Thunder has 9 remaining games. 6 are home, 3 are on the road. 5 of the 9 games are against teams that have a winning record. They get to play 4 of those 5 at home. And then 4 of the games remaining are against teams with a losing record. And those are 2 and 2, 2 home, 2 away. So, you take a look at the schedule, and you've got the Pacers at home, you've got the Nuggets at home, the Pistons at home, the Rockets at home, and then you've got Milwaukee on the road to end the season. Those all look like winnable games. In my mind, I'm thinking Milwaukee's going to have the number 1 seed locked up for that final game, and I wouldn't be surprised if they rest some guys to get ready for playoffs. The Thunder will likely be fighting for their position, so perhaps that could be an easier win. I'm not really sure. We'll have to just see how that shakes out. The four games against teams with a losing record. Memphis tomorrow night really should be an easy win. Then you got Dallas and the Los Angeles Lakers at home. Dallas is what's up?
Okay.
Dallas is they've been playing pretty well lately. Luka, he's still fighting for Rookie of the Year, so I think that could still be a tough one. The Thunder is 1-2 against the Mavericks so far this season, and then we've got the Lakers, who, they're out of the playoffs. LeBron's going to be missing the playoffs for the first time since I was in high school, a long time ago. He's seen, I believe it's 8 finals appearances in a row, and it's okay. That's just how it shakes out. I feel bad for the guy, but at the same time, don't really feel bad for the Lakers. And then we have to play the Timberwolves in Minnesota again. They've just had our number all season long, 0-3 against them in the 3 matchups. 2 of those games were 1 possession games, so maybe the Thunder can figure out something, play with a sense of urgency, and somehow turn that season series around at least a little bit, pick up a win there. So, as far as other teams go, Utah and San Antonio both have really easy schedules to finish out the regular season. They've got 2 of the 3 easiest. Houston and Portland they kind of fall in the middle in terms of difficulty, and then the Clippers, they have a pretty difficult schedule just like the Thunder does. So, like I said, the playoff standings, they're not decided. Seedings are not decided. There's still what I would consider to be a lot of time left. If the playoffs started today, the Thunder would be playing Houston in the first round with a potential second round matchup against the Warriors if the Thunder was able to get past the Rockets. I really feel like the 4 or the 5 seed is probably going to be more realistic for the Thunder. We'll just kind of have to play it by ear and see what happens. Who really knows at this point? There's a lot of basketball left to be played. So, anyways, what do you think, Cadence? There's 9 games left in the regular season. How many do you think the Thunder really needs to win of the 9?
About a lot of them.
About a lot of them? How many would you say is a lot? You just want to say all 9? Let's just win all of them, right? Just in the season on a 10-game winning streak. That sounds good to me. Realistically, I'm taking a look at the schedule, and I'm thinking that I think 6-3 would be okay. Something closer to winning all 9 obviously would be incredible. I feel like if you go less than 500 the rest of the way, though, you're just going to be hurting yourself headed into the playoffs. So, really need to finish strong so we can head into the playoffs with some momentum, and we'll just have to see how it shakes down.
Whether you need a professional writer to build or expand your online presence, or fresh new designs and new perspective to build your business, where do you start? Tales from the Click Media is committed to telling your story in a way that promotes business growth, consistent branding, and long-term success. So whether you have 1 or 100 employees, no tale is too small to tell. Call us today at 405-620-6200 or visit our website at talesfromtheclickmedia.com.
So that leaves us with our weekly forecast. A little bit shorter show this week with Craig out, but you want to talk about the games that are coming up?
No.
You don't want to? You want to go back and go play? What? You can keep sitting here with me. That's fine. Mm-hmm. All right. So let's talk about the next 4 games the Thunder has. 4 games in 6 days. 4 games in 4 games 7 days. I don't know. Anyways, we play the Grizzlies tomorrow in Memphis at 7 o'clock. I feel like that's an absolute must-win. The Grizzlies are not even hardly a complete NBA team. They've got a lot of young guys. They've got a lot of G League level players. Still can't count them out of it. Mike Conley is an incredible point guard, and Jonas Valanciunas, he's a guy that's kind of caused Steven Adams some trouble at times. We'll just kind of have to see how that shakes out. But I feel like Memphis has to be a win. That moves us on to, I believe, what's going to be a 4-game homestand. 5-game homestand? Let's take a look here. 5-game homestand coming up after the game against the Grizzlies, starting with the Pacers on Wednesday. First time these two teams matched up, you really thought that the Thunder was going to get to walk away with a win. Just gave up too many second half points, and that's kind of been the tale of the Thunder's post All-Star break, I guess you could say, is they'll play really well in one half and really poorly in the other one. Typically, it's play poorly in the first half and then try to make a comeback in the second half. This particular game against Indiana a few weeks ago, Thunder looked really good in the first half and then just blew it in the second half. So really need to come out and impress the home crowd. The Thunder has not played well at home lately. Lost 3 in a row at home. Can't do that. Got to protect home court, especially with the playoffs on the horizon. So need to get a win there. On Friday, the Thunder will host the Denver Nuggets. The Nuggets have beaten the Thunder all 3 times. Once again, really need to win at home. Really need to show that Thunder can hang with a team of Denver's caliber. And then that rounds out the week on Sunday with a 2:30 matinee matchup. Thunder hosting the Mavericks. The Mavericks actually have 2 wins in the three matchups with the Thunder so far this season. So I really want to see a win that day, mostly because I'm going to the game. Pretty excited about that. So sorry you can't go. I don't have enough tickets. I just got one. So if I had to pick, if I had to put some money on it, if you force me to pick, I'm going to go ahead and guess that the Thunder's going to go 3-1 for the week. I think that sounds reasonable. Should beat Memphis, should beat Dallas. I really feel like the Thunder should beat at least one of the Pacers and the Nuggets out of those. I think there could be a loss in there somewhere. At the same time, I would not be surprised with 4-0. I would be upset with anything worse than 3-1. If we go 2-2, that's just not good enough. Anything worse than that, it's going to be devastating for the Thunder's playoff chances. So, that's going to leave that about there. So, got anything else to add?
I want the Thunder to win.
You want the Thunder to win. All right, that sounds pretty good to me. So, like I said, pretty short show. This is out of our typical weekly time. Also, we will try to do a show sometime later this week. Get back to our normal 1 hour long time period, but just wanted to check in for a quick Sunday night update status. Thanks for joining me, Cadence.
You're welcome.
She's been a wonderful co-host. Thank you guys for tuning in, whether you're listening after the fact or watching live. Thanks again for jumping in with us. And till next week, you can tell everybody Thunder out.
Thunder up.